It's been interesting because since your article dropped, I gotta say, it has got all the buzz. If you are on X, if you're on Instagram, TikTok for the young kids, you know that Caitlin Clark is the Time Athlete of the Year. How has your 24 hours been since the articles dropped?
It's been awesome, and just the reaction. Obviously, people so excited not only about women's basketball but about women's sports, and how excited and deserving not only myself but just women's sports as a whole.
Imagine winning the biggest award of your career, only to be hit with harsh criticism from all directions. That's exactly what happened to Caitlin Clark after she was named Time's Athlete of the Year. But here's the twist: while the critics flooded the airwaves, some sports legends stepped up to back her up. Want to know who's got her back? We've got Olympic heroes, sports icons, broadcasting experts, and even a Time Award finalist speaking out in support of Clark. Stick with us, because at the end, one of the greatest athletes of all time is sharing their thoughts on this issue. Ready? Let's dive in.
Last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have?
Caitlin Clark's Athlete of the Year award should have been a moment to celebrate her success. Instead, it sparked a wave of unexpected criticism. Some claimed she was giving in to jealous organizations, while others argued she should share the spotlight with the entire WNBA and do more to support the league.
Reese, we have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized, and I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, expressed concerns that focusing solely on Clark could cause tension within the league. She suggested that maybe the whole WNBA should have been recognized, calling it the League of the Year. On the flip side, critics like Megyn Kelly accused Clark of bowing down to outside pressures. It's a strange situation. What should have been a moment of unity over Clark's groundbreaking achievement turned into a point of division.
It's like Cinderella, like, I don't really want to go out with the prince. Please pay attention to these very unattractive stepsisters. That's really what she's saying. I know you don't want to look at them. You really want to look at me. But I feel bad about all the attention. And just take a minute to look at them, because they, after all, did get this castle in the first place that I now am set to rule. No one's buying it.
But not everyone is jumping on the criticism bandwagon. An Olympic gold medalist is stepping up to defend Clark. Want to know who it is? You won't believe what she has to say.
Obviously a huge fan of Caitlin Clark, the player. She was a huge draw to the reasons NCAA women's basketball grew.
Just when the debate seemed like it couldn't get any more intense, an Olympic champion jumped into the ring to defend Caitlin Clark. Gabby Thomas, not only a speedster on the track but also a triple Olympic gold medalist from the 2024 Paris Games, quickly entered the conversation. When Riley Gaines criticized Clark, Thomas wasn't having it. She fired back on social media with, "Girl, are you for real? You don't have to share your opinion on everything, just sit this one out." This isn't just a one-time response, it's part of a growing movement where athletes are supporting each other and breaking down barriers across sports. But the conversation is far from over. A tennis legend is about to weigh in with her take on women supporting women in sports. Enter Chris Evert, an 18-time Grand Slam champion who dominated women's tennis in the 70s and 80s. Known for her fierce competitiveness on the court, Evert is now stepping into the debate surrounding Caitlin Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award. When Sheila Johnson suggested the award should have gone to the whole WNBA instead of Clark, Evert quickly fired back, defending Clark's individual achievement. Caitlin Clark deserves this award because of her talent and contributions both on and off the court, Everett said, emphasizing that Clark's recognition is a milestone, making her the first female basketball player to earn the prestigious title. Everett's support isn't just about defending Clark, it's a statement about celebrating individual excellence in team sports. Her respected voice, far beyond tennis, adds weight to the growing support for Clark. But wait, an NFL star is about to tackle this basketball controversy head-on. What perspective will this football pro bring to the debate? Stay tuned.
And then her next step into the WNBA, it was the same thing. Because of her physical gifts and intangibles as a hooper, more people tapped into it. Caitlin Clark being named the Times Athlete of the Year is well-deserved.
NFL star Ryan Clark is now stepping into the basketball conversation, and he's not holding back. The former Pittsburgh Steelers safety-turned-sports analyst took on the Caitlin Clark controversy head-on during his podcast, *The Pivot Star*. Clark didn't just support Clark, he championed her, making a strong case for her achievement and standing firm in his defense.
Like her. Megyn Kelly said, Caitlin Clark was on her knee apologizing. And Caitlin eloquently answered it in that, no, I just think I'm aware. I've always tried to understand what was going on around me, and I've always focused on blocking out the noise.
Ryan Clark made it clear that Caitlin Clark's Time Athlete of the Year honor is well deserved. He praised her maturity, especially when it comes to her awareness of race and privilege in sports, calling it beyond her years. But for Clark, it's not just about the award. He also highlighted how Caitlin handles criticism, particularly how she responds to critics like Megyn Kelly.
But what do you want Caitlin Clark to do? What do you want Caitlin Clark to do? She plays in a league that is predominantly African American, and she wants to maybe show up at work and not have people hate her. She wants the league to be successful. The more successful, more stars, the better it is for her and everybody in the league.
Ryan Clark made it clear, Caitlin Clark's impact is unmatched. He believes no single player has done for women's basketball what she did in 2024, maybe ever. That's a big statement, especially coming from an NFL pro. But hold on, there's more. A controversial media figure is about to stir things up even further. What will this outspoken personality add to the Clark conversation? Stay tuned.
The best basketball player, female player on the planet, and getting everybody into women's sports and women's basketball. She is in a no-win situation. No win. She didn't even say anything that inflammatory. It's the first time she ever spoke, and everyone's like, who supported her before.
Just when you thought the Caitlin Clark debate couldn't get any more intense, Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy jumps in. Known for his unfiltered opinions, Portnoy's stance on Clark is loud and clear. He didn't just defend her, he went all out in a fiery video, expressing his love for her game since her college days. But here's where it gets really interesting. Portnoy slammed Clark's critics, stating that her popularity has nothing to do with the color of her skin. He pointed out that Clark plays in a way no woman ever has before, making her a true game changer.
They co-opt somebody who is not on your side, never said they're on your side, never want to stand for what you're standing for in the beginning. They're just being them. And that's what Caitlin has done from the jump. So anyone who's mad at Caitlin Clark right now for saying she wants to elevate the league, she respects the players that came before them and know that they put in all the work that allows her to be in a professional league. Yes, that allows her to be in a professional league. If you have a problem with that, you were never a Caitlin Clark fan and you're part of the problem too.
But Portnoy didn't stop there. He called out the hypocrisy of fans who claim to support Clark yet criticize her for acknowledging her privilege. You're crazy, he said, clearly frustrated with the backlash against her. Portnoy defended Clark, saying she's not betraying anyone, she's simply recognizing those who paved the way for her. Now, a young tennis phenom, rumored to be a finalist for Athlete of the Year, is about to weigh in. What does this rising star have to say about Clark's situation? If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. Now, let's get back to the action.
It is of course, the player, the athlete of the year, and it's not the league of the year or the team of the year. Caitlin Clark deserves that. There's no doubt that Caitlin Clark, the impact that she had on the league was extraordinary. The TV ratings, the attendance, the sellouts, even Sheila Johnson's own team, the Washington Mystics, moved their two Indiana Fever games from the 4,200-seat arena to the 20,000-seat arena, and in September had the biggest crowd in WNBA history because of Caitlin Clark. And Sheila Johnson knows that.
While the debate rages on, another young superstar has quietly joined the conversation. At just 19, Coco Gauff is already a household name in tennis, so why is she suddenly paying attention to a college basketball player? Her subtle online gesture hints at a larger movement brewing among Gen Z athletes. Coco Gauff, the world #2 tennis sensation, has been making waves both on and off the court. After winning her first WTA Finals trophy and serving as Team USA's flag bearer at the Olympics, Gauff turned her attention to Caitlin Clark's Time cover. Her response? A simple yet powerful trio of heart-eye emojis on Clark's Instagram post. But this wasn't just a random act of kindness. Gauff's been following Clark's career since her Iowa days, even setting alarms during the European clay season to catch basketball games. She's part of a growing network of young female athletes supporting one another across different sports. Now, a tech entrepreneur with deep ties to sports is about to weigh in. When a Silicon Valley mogul married to one of the greatest athletes of all time speaks up, people listen. So, why is Alexis Ohanian, husband of Serena Williams, jumping into the Caitlin Clark debate? His perspective brings a whole new dimension to the conversation. Ahanian, the co-founder of Reddit, isn't just a tech genius, he's also a passionate advocate for women's sports. When he saw the storm brewing around Clark, he didn't stay silent. In a powerful Twitter thread, Ahanian defended Clark's right to celebrate her achievements while acknowledging her privilege. "What if I told you it's possible to celebrate excellence and acknowledge privilege?" Ahanian tweeted. He praised Clark's self-awareness and her ability to handle the spotlight. But here's where it gets interesting, Ahanian didn't just defend Clark. He highlighted how she's positively impacted women's basketball at such a critical time for the sport. "She's had to step into a massive spotlight at such a young age, at such a loaded time in our country," Ahanian wrote. "All of sports is so much better off because of her and how she's handled it all. Caitlin Clark is absolutely deserving of her accolades, which she earned being excellent and also self-aware." Ahanian's words carry weight, showing how the worlds of tech, sports, and social issues are intersecting in new and unexpected ways. And he's not done yet. Ahanian wrapped up his thread with a message of excitement for Clark's future, tweeting, "We're all excited to see what 2025 brings." And don't worry, he didn't forget about his amazing wife, Serena. He promised to share her thoughts soon. But the conversation is far from over. A veteran sports journalist with decades of experience is about to weigh in. What will this seasoned pro have to say about Clark's situation? Stay tuned.
She grew up idolizing Maya Moore with the Minnesota Lynx. As a girl, she went up there and watched her play and got a chance to hug her when she was a little kid, talks about Maya Moore all the time. Caitlin has been nothing but great on this issue of the black women who have made the WNBA what it is.
When it comes to women's sports, few voices carry as much weight as Christine Brennan's. With decades of experience covering the biggest stories and athletes, Brennan's take on the Caitlin Clark controversy sent shockwaves through the sports world. So, what did this veteran journalist see that others missed? Brennan didn't hold back during her appearance on CNN's Laura Coates Live Star. She passionately defended Clark, emphasizing the young star's extraordinary impact on the WNBA. Brennan pointed to skyrocketing TV ratings and packed arenas as clear evidence of Clark's influence, showing how she's helping drive a new wave of attention and excitement in women's basketball.
There's only one that can do what Caitlin Clark did. Bring all those eyes. For pure basketball purists, there's nobody like her. Now, culturally, we can make an argument, but like on the court, what she did, and I don't know if you saw, Indiana Fever yesterday posted this clip of Caitlin, and the caption was just her accolades, and it took 5 minutes to read, and I'm like, girl, do you want to chill at all? She doesn't know.
Zero. And listen, I think this is probably the easiest decision to make, right?
But Brennan saved her sharpest words for Sheila Johnson's criticism. It is, of course, the athlete of the year, not the league of the year or the team of the year, Brennan declared, making it clear that individual achievements matter in sports, and Clark earned her moment in the spotlight. Brennan also praised Clark for her efforts to uplift black women in basketball, highlighting how Clark consistently expresses admiration for trailblazers like Maya Moore. It's this kind of thoughtful, nuanced perspective that makes Brennan's voice so powerful in the debate. And speaking of powerful voices, an ESPN anchor is about to weigh in. Her fiery defense of Clark might just change the game. Are you ready to hear what she has to say? Stay tuned.
We've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute real numbers and statistics to their popularity, right? Like 19 million people watching, and certainly watching the national champion.
In the world of sports journalism, few voices command attention like Elle Duncan. The ESPN anchor didn't just join the Caitlin Clark conversation, she ignited it with a fiery defense that had critics scrambling. Duncan took to Twitter, her words cutting through the noise. Caitlin Clark deserved Time Athlete of the Year, and as a member of the WNBA, it automatically amplifies the league, she wrote. To suggest she's being put on an unfair pedestal for being recognized for a truly uncommon and transformational year is absurd. Duncan was pushing back against those questioning the honor, but she didn't stop there. Duncan made an important point. It's like saying, why hand out an MVP when everyone is so important on a team? Both things can be true. She reminded everyone that sports always honors individual accomplishments, and there's nothing unfair about that, unless it's being used.
And what a lot of people weren't willing or were a bit reluctant to appreciate was the game on this young white sister of ours. She can ball. And oh, by the way, she was a great ambassador for the game. And by the way, she came in there and looked out for everybody else. For 22 years, they couldn't get chartered flights. That sister got there and it was done in 2 weeks. That's who Caitlin Clark is.
What set Duncan's defense apart was her no-nonsense approach to addressing critics. She didn't hold back, calling out the absurdity of suggesting Clark was being put on an unfair pedestal. She compared it to questioning the very concept of MVP awards in team sports. Both things can be true, and individual recognition in sports is important. As the debate rages on, a legendary sports commentator is about to weigh in. His take on Clark could change everything. Are you ready to hear what he has to say? Stay tuned.
So she spoke out against that. She got people paid. She got better travel arrangements. She increased the ratings and the revenue, which obviously the WNBA benefited exponentially because now you got a $200 million deal. All of these things being considered, you damn right. It is appropriate that she got Athlete of the Year. She is special, and she's coming.
Just when you thought the Caitlin Clark debate couldn't get any louder, Stephen A. Smith steps up to the mic. Known for his booming voice and fiery takes, Smith didn't just defend Clark, he unleashed a full-on tirade in her favor, making his stance crystal clear.
She'll be there in 2028. Barring injury, she will be there. But she should have been there already. She really should have. It might have helped you even more. But your loss.
On his show, Stephen A. Smith praised Caitlin Clark's massive impact on women's basketball. He pointed out how she's helped boost ratings, improved player travel, and even increased salaries across the league. But he didn't stop there. Smith called out Clark's critics, suggesting that some of the backlash comes from resentment over her success. This white girl came on the scene where there were a bunch of SS that preceded her that were big time and deserved a lot of credit, he said bluntly. Smith emphasized Clark's role as a great ambassador for the game, praising not just her skills but her ability to draw significant attention to women's basketball.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. It's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.